All right, let's dive right into this explainer and completely dismantle the myth that working harder is the only way to build wealth. We've all been told the same story. If we just put in way more hours, grind longer, and sweat harder, success is absolutely guaranteed. But the data and the actual blueprints of self-made millionaires, well, they tell a completely different story. So today, we're exploring the Architect's Blueprint. It's a highly structured guide designed to fundamentally transform how you think about earning money.
Here is our roadmap for today. We'll be starting with the smart work mindset, then moving into the 4 laws of wealth, followed by 5 paths to 1 million. After that, we'll look at how to replace hours with systems, cover some common traps to avoid, and finally, lay out your concrete 30-day action plan.
Okay, let's kick things off with Section 1, the smart work mindset, trading hours versus building systems.
To really understand this, look at it this way. Traditional hard work is literally like carrying buckets of water back and forth from a river to your village. In that model, time equals money. You're only getting paid for your physical presence, meaning the second you stop walking, the water totally stops arriving. Smart work, on the other hand, is taking the time up front to actually build a pipeline. Sure, it takes way more thought at the beginning, but eventually, that water, which is your income, flows entirely on its own.
I love this idea. Think of smart work as basically building a little robot that works for you while you're fast asleep. You aren't avoiding work at all. You're simply front-loading your effort to create a system. You're effectively cloning yourself through assets that can work 24/7 without ever burning out, needing a coffee break, or complaining.
Moving right along to Section 2, the 4 laws of wealth. Let's look at the actual mechanics of smart work.
Now, the absolutely crucial point here is Law 1, leverage. Leverage just means using tools to multiply the results of your effort exponentially. You can use time, money, code, media, or people. And here's why this is just so incredibly powerful today. Instead of needing a massive multi-million-dollar factory or a huge bank loan, a 20-year-old in Pakistan with a laptop and a basic internet connection can use code or media as their ultimate leverage point. You write a piece of code once and 1 million people can use it. You record a video once and it can be viewed infinitely. That is the magic of permissionless leverage.
And that brings us to Law 2, compounding. Let's look at these numbers. If you invest just $100 a month at a 10% return over 20 years, you end up with about $68,000. Not bad, right? But what if you tweak that system to get a 20% return? You don't just double your money, you end up with over $345,000. That slight edge creates absolutely staggering wealth over time. And keep in mind, this law applies just as much to compounding your daily skills and your audience as it does to your actual capital.
Next up is Law 3, which is all about asymmetric bets. This just means structuring your project so you have a very, very low downside, but a massive, almost infinite upside. As a beginner, you want to risk less than $500, or roughly 140,000 PKR on these bets. Great examples include writing a niche blog, coding a really basic app, or starting a newsletter. Think about it. The worst that happens is you lose a little bit of time and a tiny bit of cash. But the best that happens, it scales into a multi-million-dollar asset.
Finally, we have Law 4, positioning. Being a big fish in a tiny bowl is vastly better than being an invisible minnow in a giant ocean. If you try to be just a general business coach right now, you're going to drown in the competition. But if you position yourself as the ultimate productivity coach for, say, left-handed graphic designers, you completely dominate that specific niche and establish ultimate authority.
So we've got the laws down. Let's look at Section 3, 5 paths to 1 million, or how to choose your vehicle.
There are 5 distinct paths you can take here, completely depending on your unique skills. First, there's digital products and SaaS, where you're leveraging code to hit your first 1K in a matter of weeks. Second is content and audience, leveraging media over months. Third, e-commerce systems, using capital and operations. Fourth, high-ticket agencies, which is actually the fastest path to cash in just days by leveraging people. And finally, investing in equity, playing the long game over years by leveraging pure capital. You just need to pick the vehicle that matches the fuel you currently have. Next, we're shifting into Section 4, replace hours with systems. This is how you work for 4 hours, but earn for 24.
So how do we actually execute this day to day? You do it in 3 steps. Step 1, automation. Get your software set up to handle all those robotic, repetitive tasks like email sequences. Step 2, delegation. Outsource the low-value stuff that just drains your soul. And Step 3, decisions. You need to create strict rules to eliminate decision fatigue. Save your precious brain power for making money, not for deciding what to watch on Netflix tonight. If a task doesn't move the needle, just filter it out.
So, what does a smart workday actually look like? Notice that first point right away. No 4 a.m. motivational fluff. You absolutely do not need to wake up before the sun and hustle endlessly. Instead, you just identify one single high-leverage task for the day. Then you sprint on that exact task for 90 uninterrupted minutes, zero distractions. After that, you briefly review your system for any bottlenecks, and then, and this is the absolute most important part, you step away and let the system run.
But beware, it's not all smooth sailing. Section 5, Common Traps to Avoid, specifically fake smart work.
There are total dragons on this journey, disguising themselves as smart work. Let's quickly debunk these 5 traps. Trap 1. Endless research. Reading 50 business books without ever actually making an offer, that's just procrastination. Trap 2. Buying expensive courses instead of executing. Trap 3. Hustling on unscalable tasks. Look, if you can't automate it, drop it. Trap 4. Falling for absolute zero-effort passive income scams. And Trap 5. Premature scaling. Please, don't spend thousands on ads before proving someone actually wants what you're selling.
All right, let's bring it all down to earth with Section 6, your 30-day action plan. This is the blueprint to your very first $100. Let's walk through this 4-week timeline. Week 1, you simply pick a specific niche and choose one of those 5 paths we just discussed. No second-guessing yourself here. Week 2, you build your minimum viable offer. It doesn't have to be perfect at all, it just has to solve a real problem. Week 3, you launch your offer to just 10 people. Don't stress about a massive audience, just find 10 targeted individuals. And Week 4, you iterate based on their feedback and you secure that very first sale. This exact timeline requires less than 60 minutes a day of highly focused effort.
Now, you might be wondering, why is the goal only $100? Well, because this 30-day sprint is purely about validating your system. Once you can prove to yourself that you can engineer an asset to make about 28,000 PKR completely independently of your hourly labor, you win the mental game. From there, you just optimize and scale that exact same system, and suddenly $100 turns into $1 million.
As we wrap up this explainer today, I want you to take a hard look at your current daily routine and ask yourself a really honest question. Are you building a pipeline, or are you just trying to carry your buckets faster? Because if your income completely stops the exact moment you stop working, you're carrying buckets.
If you only take away 3 things from our time together, let it be these absolute truths. Time is finite, but systems are infinite. Relentlessly compound your skills and your capital. And stop trading your hours for rupees. You literally have the blueprint in your hands now, but you really have to ask yourself, if you refuse to build your own system today, whose system are you going to be trapped working inside of for the rest of your life?